Hey guys! So I'm here with a little show and tell for you today. If you didn't already know, I tend to travel a lot. I go on these long backpacking trips through Europe and Asia and really wherever I really want to go at the time. And they go on for like months. I do like extensive backpacking trips. And this is a little thing that I always like to bring with me on those trips. I call it my travel deck of cards. Now, this is the case that I heard this one in. This is actually a completed travel deck, which is why I wanted to share it with you. But essentially, it's just a deck of cards that I've covered the backs of with plain white Avery name label stickers. I got this idea in high school. Senior year, you know how everyone has people sign, their yearbooks and like t-shirts and stuff like that. I had all my friends sign a deck of cards. Now back then I took a regular plain deck of cards and the "Hello, my name is" stickers and put them on the backs. And then I had them all tag their name, really, because it was a yearbook. And my friends, being all artists, because I went to an art school, they all like drew stuff and everything, and it came out really, really cool. So on my first backpacking trip abroad with my best friend, I decided to do the same thing, except instead of using the "Hello, my name is" tags, just the regular white Avery tags, labels, right? So I don't have any to show you that are blank because, again, this is a completed set, but you get the idea. These are just a regular deck, a regular playing card deck, and I covered them with these white label stickers, really. And the idea was every time I met somebody new, or we, because we were going together, we met somebody new or hung out with somebody for a day, or like had a really cool conversation with somebody, or somebody that we wanted to remember, we would ask them to fill out a card. Now, for the first card, which is this one, the first person, our criteria was just to include your name, where you're from, and where we met, and like the year, right? And so that's what he did, but he also went ahead and documented our entire day, like what we did together, what we talked about, where we ate, and stuff like that. And it came out really, really cool. So going forward, that was the criteria, was your name, where you're from, where we met, the year, and maybe to include anything we talked about, anything we did, and just do anything. So when we started building up the deck, we would show people examples of like the previous ones so they can kind of get an idea of what to include. A lot of people didn't really include like what we talked about or whatever. They just did their own thing, and which is cool because then we asked them what it was, and that's how you kind of remember the person. So like I can look through this deck of cards and literally remember every single person in this deck. So that was the whole purpose, is to have my own little personal kind of yearbook of all the people that I met all over the world. And these are people from all over the world too, so it's like really cool. So this is a deck of cards. It is 52 cards because I used the 2 jokers, but 53 people signed them because my last trip, I had 2 cards left, and I had 3 amazing girls in my dorm who I wanted to like have them sign the cards because we spent like all of our time in Paris together. But I only had 2 cards, and I was like, oh my god, that's all I had was 2 cards left. And so 2 of the girls were from Canada, so they decided to split a card, and it'll be like the Canada card, and they filled it out. So that is where my 53 comes from. But yes, it is 52 cards with 53 tags on it. And I call it tags because the idea came from like graffiti and like tagging a place, like leaving your mark somewhere, and I wanted them to definitely leave their mark on these cards. So I just wanted to share with you this deck because I finally got it finished on my last trip, and I just really wanted to share this idea because every person that I met on my trip, they were all like, oh my god, this is such a really cool idea. And yeah, it's just, I like it. It's just my own little yearbook, and it's functional because you never leave home on a trip without a deck of cards. And so to have that, and to have that little extra, I can go back and say, oh my god, I remember Ash, or whatever, And I really, really do remember every single person in this deck. It's insane. So I built this, my first trip was in 2012, and so it's like been 4 years of travel, though technically within that 4 years, I've only traveled, I think, 10 months out of those 4 years. So it's 10 months of travel, but the first person I met was in 2012. So, but yeah, so that's this deck of cards, and I'm gonna show you the different sets because they're different trips. So I'm gonna spin this camera around and show you up close all of those cards. So the first set is from my first trip to Europe with my best friend. This was the first time doing this, and we weren't very mindful of asking people to sign cards, so it's a very small set since we really were not mindful at all. We would forget to carry the cards with us and everything, so I don't know. The second set is a little bigger. It's actually the largest set, and it was a trip to Turkey and Greece that I took by myself. And I was a bit mindful, like I was starting to become a little bit more mindful, but on the second half of my trip through the Greek islands, I did a bus about tour, so a lot of these cards are from the bus about tour where you're with a group. My group was like 20-something people, and so, you know, you're with the group for like 2 weeks and you get to know each other, and so I had them all fill out a card, so that's why that one is a bit bigger. The third set is from a backpacking trip through Southeast Asia that I took with my friend. Again, this one is very small. We were mindful. It was just that we spent a month in Indonesia where we stayed at guest houses and hotels. We did stay at hostels in like Malaysia and Singapore and Thailand, so we were able to meet some people and get cards signed, but for the most part it was just us two in different budget hotels and guest houses, so we didn't really get to meet that many people and have them sign cards. But we got a few, and so that's this little set. And then the last set is from my last trip, this past trip that I just was on throughout Italy and Barcelona, Madrid, and Paris. I did Italy with a friend, and the beginning half we didn't really meet that many people because we were in Airbnbs, but like when we started staying at the hostels, we met a few people. And then the second half of my trip, which was from Spain, Spain and France part, I was by myself, and I stayed at all hostels, and I was really mindful of getting people to sign cards because it was my last like 12 cards, and I wanted to get them finished, and I did get them all signed with like an extra person that didn't have a card who had to share a card. So that is that last deck of cards. So yeah, so this is just my little deck of cards. Again, it's just a regular plain deck of cards that I backed with the Avery, the blank Avery label stickers. On my next trip, or like my next few trips, because this was like 4 trips I think, right? I will do a new deck of cards. I will get another plain deck of cards and some Avery labels and cover it. I know that you can get like plain deck of cards, like it's a deck of cards but with a plain back on like Amazon and stuff. I've seen that. It's just, you know how cards are coated with like, it's kind of like a plasticky coat, I guess, to protect the card. I don't know how ink takes to those backs, and I use Sharpie pens and the La pens because they have a lot of colors. And I think one person in this deck actually used some watercolor, some watercolor that I had with me. And since it's paper, it takes the inks up very well. So I don't know, I don't want anything to smudge, so I'll probably just do it my old-fashioned way with the labels and everything. But I really wanted to share this because everyone that I meet and have them fill out a card thinks it's like a great idea. And now that it was finished, I kind of really wanted to share. So that is it. I will definitely leave the blog post, the corresponding blog post, in the description box down below. That's where you can find like all the other pictures of the deck, of my deck, of this deck here. But yeah, so if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Remember to subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!